from a University of Scotland perspective, I mean, the situation at Dundee is pretty grim. Many of my constituents work at the institution and they're extremely worried about the future. I'd just like your assessment of the funding that was made available yesterday in terms of a loan through the Finance Secretary, and what further investment you think is required, and whether that can prevent any job losses, or do you think job losses are inevitable?
So I think the statement by the Cabinet Secretary for Finance yesterday, I think, was gave Dundee as an example of an institution that would receive investment. I think my understanding is that technically the decision on where that money goes sits with the Scottish Funding Council. We haven't had the opportunity to engage with the Funding Council in detail on that. I think there's an assumption that Dundee is an obvious recipient for that additional funding and that loan facility. At this point in time, the leadership within Dundee University are obviously working on an overall recovery plan, and it wouldn't be appropriate for me to, not least because I don't know the details of that recovery plan, to comment on the extent of job losses or otherwise. But it's clearly a really challenging situation. There are obviously some unique circumstances in Dundee that have come into play to get them to this position. And I know from the Minister's actually earlier appearance at this committee that there's a commitment to a review, and I think that would be something that I wouldn't want to kind of speculate on what that review may reveal, but it's clearly important for everyone that recovery and sustainability is achieved for Dundee as a city region, and for all the economic benefits that the university brings there, and also for the broader sector, because it's obviously really, really important for us that there's a healthy and thriving sector in Scotland. But I wouldn't like to comment on job losses or any of that detail.